And it is a delight, I must say, because
Sure.
I'm getting the first chance to ask the question. Here it goes. Sir, India was able to reach Mars in 1/10 of the cost that US did. But US sent a manned mission to Moon in 1969. That was Apollo mission. Until today, even with such advancement and evolvement in science and technology, India, or any other country for that matter, hasn't been able to do the same. Why is it so?
Well, first thing is that you need a much larger rocket or much more powerful rocket. What we have now today is capability of sending about 2.6 tons or 2.7 tons. You need a minimum of 4 tons because you have to have at least 2 people in the thing. And that, of course, we will have soon. But otherwise, it's a very expensive affair. And but sending to Mars is a far more difficult thing than sending to Moon. Of course, Moon is easier because it doesn't take that much time to go. Mars takes 8 months to go, 8 months to come, and at least you should be there for 3-4 months. So we're talking of 2 years. It must carry 4 tons of food for each person. That itself makes it a big thing. I'm sure it will happen. But, money is the point, enormous amount of money. And we need much more powerful rockets. That's another.
We all are hoping to see that very soon. Anybody who has a question, please stand up and the mic will come to you.
Good morning, sir. Myself, Soundarya, studying in Soundarya PU College. And my question is, can we grow plants on Mars? And if so, when is India planning a project to grow plants on Mars?
Well, to grow plants on Mars, it will take time. Now, of course, when we talk of colonization, the first thing we have to do is to create a greenhouse effect. Without the plants, obviously we can't create a greenhouse effect. There is hardly any oxygen there, very little of oxygen. Therefore, we have to increase the oxygen. We have to create an atmosphere. The atmosphere is very thin there. And when we say that maybe in the next 1,000 years we will colonize, we assume that all these things will happen. And we have to start with increasing the oxygen, which is very small, into something like 15% of the atmosphere. And therefore, the greenhouse effect has to come. Without the greenhouse effect, the temperature in the night is very low, minus 200 degrees. Obviously, it's impossible. But daytime temperature is beautiful. And it would have happened exactly the same, not so badly, but almost badly, on the Earth if we didn't have the greenhouse effect. Therefore, in the very beginning when the Earth was formed, it's obvious that we couldn't have, and as the greenhouse effect started, we started various the plants, animals, and so on, and then the human beings, the oxygen level increased. So we will take time, but the advantage we have is, whereas on Earth, it took a natural, the question of the development. In our case, we can go on putting seeds. For example, there are certain bacteria which create oxygen rather than taking it. So we can go and put all the bacteria there. So we can bring up the oxygen level to something like, say, 1 millibar. And if we can bring it to 1 millibar, then you put up some plants like the cactus, that they give out more oxygen than taking. So like that you have to go on building, and with the human interference, we will have to create the greenhouse effect. And that will bring up the temperature in the night. So it will become more livable. So I think it will take 1,000 years, but this is now guesswork. And as I said, Arthur Clarke, the great visionary, he used to think that we can do it in less than 500 years. But we both together, when we presented the paper, we said 1,000 years. He agreed with me, let's go ahead. So that's how it happened. But anyway, I have no doubt that this will happen. But that will be beyond your lifetime. That I can assure you. But therefore, I want you to now concentrate on what you are going to do in your lifetime.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir. Sir, I am myself Darshan studying Soundarya High School, sir. We are very proud of India being launched Mangalyaan, sir. But we have not revealed the photos of Mars. Why, sir?
The comet, Mars, both are there. And I think there is a picture of Mars and Earth, or something like that. Yeah. But you have to be seeing this. I get it on my desk, therefore I don't know where it is published.
Good morning, sir. Which incident in your life inspired you to become a scientist, sir?
Well, you know, in our days, we used to have 3 monthly exams. I don't know what they are here. So, till I finished my SSLC, I never thought I'll go to a college. I was least bothered. And if somebody says, my mother or father says, look, you better read, I'll say, I'll pass, don't worry. That's all what I didn't have any ambition. When I joined intermediate, which was in Ballari, Veerashaiva College, it had just started, and it was the first 3 monthly exam. It had nothing to do with the exam. And I failed in physics. I got 15% in physics, but stood first in mathematics and MPC and chemistry. Chemistry I didn't have to read because that was my special subject in SSLC. Physics, I thought physics was easy. And mathematics, since my chemistry was a subject, I had to read a lot of mathematics come up because mathematics was a continuation of what you do in your SSLC. So I stood first there. But in physics, the lecturer professor says, you have done very well, you got grand 15%. I said, my God, this is terrible. I mean, this is not the way I should read. So then I changed. The next time I got first and so on. That was the time I said, look, I better start reading. And when I finished intermediate, then I was clear that I must go do physics, I must go ahead. So I went for my BSc in physics and MSc in Banaras in physics, and then I joined Dr. Sarabhai for cosmic rays. I was keen on doing cosmic rays. That's how. And then went to MIT as a staff member and Dallas as a professor. Came back. So, but every time that shock gave me, I better, if I don't read and so on, go the ways I've been doing, I'll never reach anywhere. So sometimes maybe it is good to fail. I mean it didn't take away time, but it just showed that, look, if you don't do well, you are going to be in trouble.
Good morning, sir. I am Srinidhi from 10th A. Sir, does India believe in aliens? If so, what research are being going on it?
Sorry, repeat the question, please.
Good morning, sir. Does India believe in aliens? If so, what research are going on it?
It is very difficult to do research. I think many of the scientists believe in alien life. The question is simply because this has started even well before space began. The question, in fact, when Enrico Fermi, who is one of the greatest scientists born on this earth, he was asked, he said, does he believe? He said, yes. Where are they? They said, they could be anywhere. When are we going to find it? It could be any time. So therefore, that is where you stand. The question is, how are they going to communicate? Unless either we must see them or there must be some communication. It's obvious they are not very nearby. And that means it has to be radio communication. Now we have radio communication means in what frequency, what polarization, all these things come into picture. We don't know anything about them. And how are they communicating? So therefore, there are many people think, there are many, how they will communicate. Obviously it will be through figures and so on. Therefore, some of our American satellites carried, for example, a figure of the human being and so on, to show that in case they are there, in case they find the thing, they can say, look, there is somebody who is alien Because they must be also finding, if they are good, they must be also trying to find out other aliens. Hopefully it'll come. Because there is nothing to show why we are unique. That is the whole problem. You see, if sun is an ordinary star, 70% of the stars are sun, and we are planet and is an ordinary planet of the sun, there are hundreds of thousands of planets. Already 5,000, more than 5,000 planets have been discovered. Now, what makes us unique is neither big nor small. We are a very ordinary set of planet, ordinary set of star, sun. So what makes us unique? Why it should be here? And therefore, most of us believe that there must be, but whether we will find them or not, when we will find them, these are all open questions. And there are many ways of doing it. There are radio astronomy in the antennas, which are looking at trying to find out any frequency coming from any direction. But it's not easy because the whole set of frequencies go from one end to the other end. And which frequency they will choose depends upon their level of technology. I know what we will choose if we have to send. But some messages have been sent, but we haven't got the answers.
We will have just one last question.
Good morning, sir. Myself, Supriya. I'm working as a science teacher in Priti English Medium High School. My question is, just few years back, we watched on television the images which were sent by the NASA people, that is right from Mars. I have seen few images, they said that a woman who is sitting, and not only that, few imprints of bacteria and the water flow and all we have seen. If you say that life existed on Mars, what was the reason for their extinction? If it's so if they have got extinct, what happened for the components which was present in the Mars atmosphere which facilitate for the life to exist on Mars?
Life, we don't know whether it existed or not. Now, it is possible because of the fact that it is the nearest planet to Earth, and it is almost like Earth, except its gravity is small, it is a smaller planet, and we know that now that the amount of water they have it certainly has water, but amount of water is much less. Therefore, there is a good possibility that it could have life. That doesn't mean human beings. That means life in a bacterial form could be. And that there are two possibilities. How did life begin on this earth? Nobody knows yet. We don't know whether the life began on earth by life coming into the earth itself or by an asteroid coming and falling on the earth from outside. Once the first bacteria is formed, we know we have the Darwin's theory and so on, how the evolution took place. How life began on this earth, we don't know yet. Okay? And therefore, when we say life on Mars, we are talking of the elementary life. Now, one way of looking at Mars is that, in fact, both Marvin as well as our own mom have a good experiment to look at the methane. A methane emission can come either from biological emission, which means there is life. I'm not talking of life like us, but maybe, or it could be geological because of the fact that you have earths, the tremors, but it doesn't have that many plate structure like Earth, so it doesn't have that much of tectonics. Therefore, the whole idea is to measure methane, and if we find, and then say, look, try to see whether we can find out what is the origin of it. Therefore, if we think that life has come, is there in the sun because of the biological systems, then of course it's a great discovery. Like water on Mars. But we know much more water is there in water on Moon. We know much more water is in Mars, but not as much as we have on the Earth.
Thank you, sir. On behalf of everyone, it has really quenched the thirst of knowledge and kindled the spirit among the students.
We had conducted various cultural competitions to showcase the hidden talent among the students. I now request our chief guest, Professor Dr. U.R. Rao, to felicitate the prize winners in various competitions.
The first competition is the singing competition, and the winners were Harshita Casey of First B,